you've never smoked nicotine or weed in your life.
Yes.
Why?
Well, okay, I've smoked. There's nicotine in a cigar.
Okay.
So I've never vaped. I've never smoked a cigarette, or anything else.
So I also want to shout out your honesty. Like I love that you clarify everything and you give really honest answers.
Yeah.
Just one of my like personal values is just to be serially honest.
Yep.
And it's something I really believe in. So, and I can tell immediately that you value that too.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Yep.
sorry to cut you off.
No problem. Yeah, it was never. Here's the thing. I'd articulated this better the other day. I've been around addiction, and I've also worked with, in the like whole psychedelic rehabilitation, it's helping people overcome addiction. Yeah. So also I've seen a lot of videos about, scientists talking about addiction and whatnot. The thing is, I'm not morally superior. I don't have a stronger willpower than anyone who has smoked nicotine or gotten addicted to vaping, or they're like heavy into smoking weed. I've just never tried it.
Yeah.
I think if I tried it, I'd be deep in it. That's what I think. I have an addictive personality.
Interesting.
So I keep myself away from that. I don't have anything against weed. I'm gonna be honest. Like if you overuse it, I think that it can form a degree of complacency.
Yeah.
I think it can probably like hinder your performance, but like it's a plant and it makes you feel a little sleepy. It's not like some sin or some, obviously if you're underage, it's illegal.
Yeah.
But
well, it's really interesting to hear you say that if you did it once, you think you would do it a lot. Because I don't actually think you would. And
maybe not. Maybe.
Let me explain though this. So, because I have a similar thing.
Mm-hmm.
Except, unlike I haven't smoked weed, I haven't drank alcohol in like a year, maybe a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
But for sure, all of 2023, and it's November.
Yep.
But I have tried weed, certainly tried alcohol, certainly tried nicotine, and I don't do any of them. And this is what I've concluded, because I don't think it's my willpower either. I don't think that I have this crazy willpower to not do things. I think it comes down to discipline versus identity. So discipline is you choose to do things because you have willpower. It's like, I don't want to go to the gym, but I'm disciplined, so I'm going to go anyways. I don't want to eat healthy, but I'm disciplined, so I'm going to eat healthy. Identity is like something is so core to who you are that you can't move otherwise. So it's like, I got diagnosed with a sickness. I became a stronger Christian, and like, I have listened to doctors talk about the health effects of alcohol in the brain, that it's not even like when the opportunity comes up to drink or not drink, it's not me being like, I really want to drink, but I'm going to make this choice. It's just like, I know how it affects your brain. My brother's a really bad alcoholic, so I've seen the worst parts of it. I've experienced like bad parts of it myself. So like, and as like a Christian, I don't feel like I should be like getting drunk, and I don't like the taste of alcohol. So the only reason I would drink is to get drunk.
Yeah.
And so now it's not even like a disciplined choice. It's literally just identity. It's like, and I've gotten to a point where I've gone to so many parties sober that I have just as good of a time. I'm just as confident with dancing. I feel better the next morning, and I feel better the next morning, and I like remember everything. So it's like, to me, it's just a win-win-win-win to not drink alcohol. So now it really isn't like discipline. Like, I'm not sitting there like, oh, I can't drink. I just feel like that's who I am.
Yep.
And like the reason I say like I don't think you would be addicted either is because I feel like when you saw the way like weed or alcohol, or I guess we're not talking about alcohol, but if we saw the way like weed like made you complacent or made your gym, like you're such a like someone who's gone to the gym, who works hard, that like I don't feel like you would want that version of yourself either. It's like, I don't know if what I just said made sense, but that was
that makes sense. I think, I don't know about weed, because I know weed isn't intrinsically addictive from my understanding, whereas nicotine is like an addictive substance.
Yeah.
I feel like nicotine might cause a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But I have no desire to try them. So I think I'm good on that.
Yeah.
And yeah, good for you for not partaking. I know you said it helps with your health as well.
Yeah.
And I think regardless of if you have an autoimmune disorder or not, I think that, like, I was listening to Andrew Huberman and he was saying even like as an adult, like fully developed, like once a week you should drink. Or not you should, but like if you're going to drink, once a week is like plenty. And anything further than that, you're damaging yourself.
There's a doctor I really like. He's named Dr. Amen, and he's like he's scanned more brains than anyone in the world. So all he does is study brains, and he's done like, he does like regular clients, but he's done like celebrities, he's done like people who have abuse, he's done serial killers, he's scanned every brain you can think of.
Mm-hmm.
And like a lot, and his whole thing with alcohol is that the way we look at cigarettes, like, I don't know if you know this, but in our parents' age, people would smoke cigarettes in restaurants. They would smoke cigars in restaurants. Like, it was just a part of culture. And one day, like, restaurants started outlawing it, and all of our parents were like, that's never going to stay. Like, the people are going to riot if they outlaw smoking cigarettes in restaurants. Well, now, I can't think of any restaurant where people are smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
And Dr. Amen thinks that alcohol will be the same way because of the health effects. I don't know. It's really hard to comprehend that world would exist. But he says, like, this guy's scanned more brains than anyone. He says drinking alcohol at any degree once a week has long-term effects on your brain, has long-term effects on your body. And, like, I don't think that information will change most people. But for someone like me who's just, like, hyper obsessed with wellness and stuff, like, and I'm not even saying I'll be sober forever, but I just, like, once I, like, learn information like that, it just, like, really sticks with me, and it makes me not want to, I don't know, makes me not want to do anything.
Yeah.
I'm curious, though, because you worked for a company. I know you just did video editing, so you're not, like, deep in the weeds, but you worked for a company that did psychedelic therapy. So I'm assuming they did it for mental health, addiction, probably some other things. I'm assuming what that looks like is giving patients psychedelics. What do you think of psychedelics, and what do you think of it as a therapy option?
Okay, so I've never done psychedelics. I don't have a plan on doing any sort of psychedelics. But I dropped out of school last year, so I went for one semester.
Yeah.
So when I say I'm a college dropout, I went for one semester. I didn't really give it a whole lot of time. But anyways, I dropped out. I was looking for social media video editing jobs because I'm good at social media. I'm good at video editing, and I'm very into social media. So, and I came across a job, which was an ibogaine rehabilitation center in Mexico. Ibogaine is a psychedelic. And
is it a mushroom, or is it?
It's like it comes from a shrub, and it's like a bark, I think, of a tree. Yeah, or there's a fruit. I'm not super sure.
But it's a naturally occurring psychedelic.
It is. And I came across this job, and I wasn't too sure about like the ethics and whatnot and the effectivity of it. But as I learned, I accepted the job because it paid well, and it seemed like interesting. It was talking about addiction and whatnot, and it's effective. The reason I'm moving away from it is, and I'll touch on more about what it is. The reason I'm moving away from it is, first off, I don't like the idea of being an employee. I'm not an employee. I'm a contract worker, and I've worked with a total of 3 different places throughout the last 9 months or 11 months.
Yeah.
But I don't like the idea of working, not that I'm against it, but I'd rather work towards my own mission than work for someone else's mission.
Yeah.
And especially if I don't 100% align with what they're doing, it's effective, but when you look at it through a lens of faith, it's kind of like, what's going on here? Like, what is this? Like, they're hallucinating and it works, but it's like, I don't fully understand it. So, but yeah.
I mean, and that's a good enough reason not to do it, because I'm a very strong Christian, and I don't have an opinion on psychedelics either, because I've heard people do it and tell me they're like, oh, I got closer to God. I've heard people do it and then they like believe in some spiritual God. I heard people do, and it's like, I don't really know it. I don't feel qualified enough, but I totally get where you're coming from in the sense of like, you don't have to sit here and say it's bad. You just don't know. And it's like, why would you condone something you don't know?
Mm-hmm.
And sorry, just to jump in and kind of
no problem. That. Yeah. Sort of moving away from that, I think what's interesting is you said it's fine to say you don't know. And I totally agree. And I think that's something I've actually learned recently because we're a generation of people who look on the internet and everyone has opinion on everything and they know the right answer.
Yeah.
And there's such strong personalities on the internet. And some of them, they have enough research and they have enough knowledge to back that up. Whereas others, they're kind of like pulling opinions out of thin air just to get views and just to rile people up. I think looking at that and watching hours a day of content, you start to develop these like strong beliefs about things, and you need to have an answer on everything. You need to have an opinion, you need to know about everything. And recently I've started to accept like, I don't know. Like there are conflicts in the world where I felt like, dude, I was 17, 16, and I was like, I need to have this firm opinion. Like I need to do research. First off, I can't do anything to change them.
Yeah.
And second off, there's such like biased information and there's a conflict of interest on like both sides of the argument. And I think saying I don't know is a really strong thing because you don't have to know everything. You can know most things in one field and not really be super well versed or knowledgeable about something in another field. And I think that's totally fine.
Oh, you're smart for your age. I mean, I guess I'm young too, but that's like,
he always says, you know, it's always like, oh, you're like smart. You're doing well for your age. He's 22. I'm 20.
What you don't realize though is these years, like 20 to 30, bro, in 1 year, you're going to be like, I've grown so much. And in 2 years, you're going to be like, because I'm looking back myself when I was 20, like, and I hate to say this because I know it sounds like, oh, like I'm like, here's my wise son. But bro, it's just that you grow like I bet you're already feeling it, like, since you drop out. Every 6 months is, like, crazy growth.
Totally.
But
muscles.
What I was saying, this guy's secretly jacked, too. The dog is coming into the podcast.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, like, saying I don't know is super powerful because social media is an echo chamber. So, like, people who aren't willing to say I don't know will find themselves in a place where they feel that they need an answer for everything, and their algorithms will serve them everything they already believe. So, like, say they have more liberal point of views, or say they have more Republican point of views, or say they have more, like, Israel or Gaza point of views. Whatever point of views they have, their algorithms are going to serve them evidence that what they believe is true. And so by having this I can never not know mindset, or, like, I have to have the answer to everything, they end up just living in an echo chamber, and that echo chamber leads them to hatred because it leads them to, like, I'm right and you're wrong. And that's like pride. And that's why I feel like what you're saying I don't know is so powerful. The other thing, like, we were talking about psychedelics and like as a Christian, like, so many people as a Christian, they'll be like, smoking weed is a sin, or they'll be like, taking psychedelics is a sin. And it's like, first of all, the Bible doesn't say that. It doesn't. Like, and to say that it says smoking weed is a sin is a lie. But what it does say is be sober-minded. So I think if you're taking shrooms and you're tripping balls and, like, clouds are forming into animals and stuff, like, that's probably against what the Bible says, because it says be sober-minded. But they don't verse that says thou shall not take shrooms or psychedelics. It's like people try to like make things say things they don't. And so I feel like it is a very powerful place to be like, I don't know. And this is coming from a Christian guy who's never taken psychedelics and doesn't really plan on ever taking them. Like, I'm not defending it so that one day I can do it and be like, but it's just like you said, there's so much power in saying I don't know and not having to have an answer. And I actually think that the people who are willing to not have an answer and willing to say I don't know are practicing, like, wisdom, because it's like, you just don't know.
Yeah.
That was a long rant.
No, that's good. I agree with you. And I want to clarify, by me mentioning I don't know about a few things, there's a whole lot of things which I do feel like oh my
The
goodness,
second
it's like
dog.
No problem.
It's okay.
I do want to clarify, there are a whole lot of things which I feel very strongly about,
Yeah.
and a lot of them I don't have the right answer.
Yeah.
I've just been fed a whole lot of things which have been validating my beliefs, and it is backed up through anecdotal experiences, not just through the internet.
Yeah.
But I feel like the more I let go of those things and I go, you know what, I'm gonna do what works for me. I'm going to tell people what I think might work the best for them, whom I care about. And besides that, I don't need to shove anything down anyone's throat. I don't need to get in any heated arguments about things which I'm not an expert on. I've just seen things on the internet, and I've experienced a few things in my real life. I don't need to pretend that I'm some super wise guy, some like PhD about whatever it may be.
I mean, the internet gives you the opportunity to be a guru, to be a PhD in whatever you want, which is a dangerous place, because we live in the most powerful era in the sense that you can pretty much learn anything online, but we also live in the most dangerous era in that there's more false information than has ever existed. Like something Tim Ferriss said, is the author of the 4-Hour Workweek, is that like you want to be super proficient, like really, really expert in like one or two things and good enough at everything else. And I thought that was like a really good phrase. Like I want to be expert, really good at podcasting. And I want to have decent knowledge about health, decent knowledge about fitness, decent knowledge about, and I think that's like a good mindset too.